We are officially live on Soulfield Sunday. And as always, those of you sitting there know it's such a joy to see your faces. It's such a blessing to be with you in this sacred way. And we're really welcoming all of you who are joining us also in the eternal now via recording. We live in a quantum field, and through our intention, we are together. And so, whether you're watching this an hour later or a year later, we are together, and we're so grateful for that. And so, if you have a candle, I'm going to invite you to light your candle. In the soul field work, we often light a red candle, and the red candle is a support. It sort of communicates to the field that our intention is to open to only that which is sacred, to only that which is aligned on every level of our being. And so, with that lighting, we officially open the field, and I invite you to sort of drop in with me to come into the soul field with intention. And as you enter in, you allow just a moment of quiet where you notice the breath, where you notice your brothers and sisters that are here with you, where you notice that you've been called to this sacred moment to live a life even more fully aligned, steeped in sacred trust, walking the path of grace. And you bring awareness to the top of the head, to that space about a foot above the top of the head where the portal is to the temple of divine perfection. And with the simplicity of intent, you open that portal and you see, sense, or know that there's this beautiful golden stream of light leading to a golden temple of light. This is our energy recycling center. And as you open that portal, you'll begin to feel things lifting off of you, things that no longer serve you, things that you picked up from the collective field that are not yours to carry, but simply yours to deliver back to the temple of divine perfection. And just for now, as you let that happen, set the intention to come fully into this moment, to fully receive the grace that's here for you. And with that intention, you feel yourself connecting with the earth, and with the soul light. For those of you who are on the pre-call, you named some things that you are bringing with you. For those who are just arriving, just listen. What's coming with me today? What are intentions that I have? What's alive for me? Just notice. Nothing to do, but notice. And as you're noticing, we'll begin with our opening prayer. And we have a beautiful sister of the soul field, Sandy, who's our sacred temple tender, and she'll be assisting today. And so you'll hear her voice sometimes. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Con corazones abiertos, reverentes y llenos de gratitud, venimos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. Al sumergirnos juntos en el campo del alma, somos envueltos en el abrazo sangrado por la fuente de todo amor, luz y gracia divina. En este ahora eterno, invocamos a nuestros caminos hacia el Creador y hacia los seres de amor y de luz que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestro cuerpo, alma y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida que nos amamos a nosotros mismos y así mismo al prójimo y a toda nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada, permitimos que todo lo que se ha logrado aquí respeta en nuestras vidas con un testimonio vivo de gracia divina para el beneficio de todos.
Thank you, Sandy. Most of you got the memo that we're beginning a new series today. And this series is about sacred trust and what it is to live in sacred trust, meaning walk the path of grace. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to introduce the topic, and we'll begin, as we often do a series, with the affirmations that are seeding the energy in our bodies, creating receptivity and co-creating the reality of living in sacred grace. And so I will put the affirmation up just as a reminder. When we do these affirmations, we like to use the ear rub, which is rubbing around the earlobe, or the thymus thump, tapping on the sternum. The thymus is a master gland right underneath the sternum. And when we tap there, it sort of like wakes up the communication to the body. When we rub the ears, we're activating all the flows of energy in the body. So it's a way, when we say affirmation with tapping or rubbing the earlobe, it's a way of getting that embodied, so that it's not just a word, it's not just a concept, but it's embodied. And so as you do the affirmation, we invite you to repeat after. Sandy will repeat after and lead you in that version. The words will be up on the screen. And as you say it, let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel what you're speaking as you tap and rub and speak. And so here we go. I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I love who I am and I revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always and always.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify in their grace.
I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my path.
I love who I am and I revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always and always.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I love who I am and I revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always and always.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify in their grace.
I can feel that. My body is vibrating differently. I'm assuming yours is too. So let's talk for just a minute about sacred trust and even like what we're going to talk about, like what is that a little bit? And we look at the word just trust defined, it's a firm belief in the reliability or the truth or the ability or the strength of someone or something, in this case, of the sacredness of us, of life, of the sacred source. And the thing is, sacred trust is truly our natural state. Like, in order to form a body, in order to come into this dimension, we have to entrust all parts of our lives into the divine embrace. Like that's a prerequisite for having a body. It's in the fabric of our being. It is our natural state. And yet, um, life and culture and the way we are taught and shown things can sort of pull us away and take us out of that natural state. And so we're going to talk more about that, but coming back to this sense of trust, when we're in trust, we're really resting. We're resting into the sacred knowing. And sacred knowing, we can use that word gnosis. Gnosis is that which is beyond like knowledge. It's not something you learn in a book. It's something you know in your bones. And so sacred trust, when we rest into it, is inside of us. Like I said, it's part of our natural state. And it's also something that we lean into. It's something we rest into, resting into the understanding that all things are divinely imbued. And if they're divinely imbued, like we said in our affirmation, then all things, all parts of us, all parts of life are sort of ripe with the possibility, and really I want to say the plausibility, that beauty will arise, that growth will arise, that something will uplift, that enlivening will come, that transformation is there, that whatever this is in front of us, be it something that's obviously gorgeous and beautiful and just what we wanted, or something that feels not so gorgeous and beautiful and not so much what we wanted, it's in and of itself sacred. And part of our role when we walk the path of grace is to actually activate that, to activate through our remembrance, through our sacred trust, to activate that part of whatever is there, a being, an experience, a part of self, to actually imbue that with the sacred trust that allows it to come into fruition. Right? And this is what we might call sanctifying or making sacred. And so that's why we're talking about sacred trust. Because when with our intention we make something sacred by remembering that it is imbued, by trusting that it's so, even when we can't see it, even when we don't know how, we now enter into sacred role as co-creator or co-creatrix. And we, by the light that we look at this with, we actually begin to allow it to become the divine that it is. There's sort of neurological technology behind this in terms of our biospiritual system, and we'll get into that more in the series. But it's really incredible. We're actually designed for this. We're actually designed for this. Another part of sacred trust that I want to speak to a little bit as we're just sort of starting this series is the experience of being able to access the eagle eye view. So when we're stepping into sacred trust, when we're amplifying sacred trust, we're sort of actively looking for the revelation. We're actively sort of broadening our view and going like, I can't see it right now, but there's got to be beauty here somewhere, like the eagle in the sky that's like, I can't see the snake, but I know it's down there. I'm going to keep looking. And that's us to get big and to rise above, to take our consciousness to a higher place so that we are actively with that higher self looking for the highest vibrational capacity, seeing it, calling it forward. And this requires often a leap of faith. There's a word called gambol, Gambol, which means leap of faith. And we're really talking about the sacred gamble, the sacred leap of faith, which is like coming with that, not just that eagle eye view, but this like childlike playfulness, this sort of like confident knowing, the child that just like goes skipping along, not worrying if their legs are going to work, right? Just goes. So it's this playful, trusting, confident following of our intuitive urgings, of our divine guidance. It's that energy that allows for the sacred gamble, the knowing that we're completely supported. It's a carefreeness that happens when we rest in sacred trust. And so it doesn't mean something doesn't like catch our attention, or we don't have a moment of pause, or we don't have caution, or we don't even have sometimes really hard emotions arise. But right alongside that, at the deepest levels, we are knowing we're safe. And that allows us to actually be with life as it is in that given moment. It allows us to take what we call, or what I like to call, what spirits guided me to call, the myopic migration. And so myopia meaning nearsightedness. You can only see what's right here. And so even though you're up there with the eagle eyes view, sometimes you can just see right where your eyes are looking. And the willingness to take the step anyway, right? To move forward, not knowing, will it be okay? Not knowing by maybe what life is showing you, but knowing by the sacred trust that lives inside of you. Right? And that's what we're talking about here. This leap of faith, this willingness to go, willingness to move, even when we don't like it. And we often don't like it. Life has lots of disappointments. And as a species, we're not super great at dealing with disappointment. We like to throw all kinds of temper tantrums when it doesn't go our way. Right? And this is where the intentionality of walking the path of grace and amplifying sacred trust becomes essential. Right? This is where we step into the co-creation and we sanctify everything that comes into our sphere and everything that exists with us there. And we understand that it's come to teach us what we need to know, to borrow a little phrase from Pema Chodron. We've been given the capacity, like this is part of our blessing in this dimension. We can make holy. We can make holy. We actually can do that. We can make the knee injury holy. We can make the person that wrongs us a holy experience. We have that choice. This is what sacred trust creates, is that we end up walking in grace so that what shows up in our life, whatever it may be, we enter into a sacred relationship with it. And we allow it to be as it is versus trying to make it what we think we need it to be or what we think we want it to be. In other words, we're able to be with the disappointment that it's not what I thought I wanted or how I thought it should be. And we can allow it to be as it is. And if it is true that our divine nature is sacred, then that is also sacred, as we say in our prayer. Mm. I'm going to pause there. There's like something else I want to speak to, but I actually want to pause there. And I want you to take a minute and I want you to just think about where or when in your life have you found it hard to do what I'm speaking, to rest in sacred trust, to know all is well, to make sacred what's occurring or who is there or how they're showing up. Just think about that for a moment. Notice where, like maybe there's a certain area, right? A place where there's more trauma. I have a lot of trauma in my lineage around relationship, for example. And that's been an area of life, say, partnership, like intimacy, sensual, sexual, relational intimacy. And that's been an area where I've had a harder time trusting. Okay. And so we have these places, and I want you to just note where or when, like, oh, when I'm disappointed or when, when I'm having a hard day, like when or where. And you can jot it down if you have a journal and you want to do it that way. Would love to have you type it in the chat. I'm actually going to pause the recording for a minute and let's just have a brief little chat about this. Anyone who wants to share. So we're back, and I'm just gonna, summarize like these places where things don't go the way we want, where the timing of things isn't how we decide, where we recognize we're not in control, where we're overwhelmed, where life throws us a curveball that we were not expecting that's really hard. These are moments where it's challenging. And part of Sacred Trust, we sort of like our last series kind of seeded this, our last series where we were focusing on refuge, because this is part of Sacred Trust, is the capacity to take refuge. In last series, we focused on the 5 R's. We had receptivity as one of those 5 R's, and the receptivity, the receiving of grace, flows out of recognizing like, hey, I don't like this. This is not going the way I planned, right? Resting into the knowledge that there is sacred energy, there is a divine embrace, there is a sacred source that you can lean into, and then literally releasing with intention, with that being held, right? So this is part of why we set that up last series, because then the receptivity, in order to be in sacred trust, like to really live it, we actually have to feel the sacred. We actually have to allow it to pour into us. If we are going to make sacred what is in front of us, we have to be activated in our sacredness, which means that grace is pouring through us. And so throughout this series, we're going to unpack the ways that things can get in the way and inhibit our sacred trust, that get in the way and inhibit our receptivity. And we're going to work to transmute some of this, as well as really activate and invoke our holy wholeness. Like, what is it to really live in sacred trust, and how we can step by step walk in grace, and how we can know when we're not, right? How we can know when we're not. And so I'm going to begin this series for us, and we may do this sacred geometric light emanation again. I'm going to begin this series with us with one of the sacred geometric light emanations. And so, for those of you who may not be completely familiar with the sacred geometric light emanations, these are the technology of the combination between intelligent light frequency that I often will call flames, or light emanations, and sacred form, sacred geometry. And today we're going to work with something that I call the trapezoidal wheel. And this geometry is really about restoring and reigniting and re-energizing your sacred blueprint with regard to trust. So we come in, like I said, it's part of our nature. And this geometry will also work to cleanse our biospiritual system of the places where our lineage or our culture or our personal pain has blocked that true nature with regard to sacred trust. And so I named two of the flames already that we're going to use. One of the flames being the flame of sacred gamble, GAMBOL, the leap of faith. And one of the flames being the flame of myopic migration. And I kind of described those a little bit. The third flame being the flame of sacred inner guidance and trust. Sacred inner guidance and trust. If it is our divine nature, then we can rest into that. And so this flame will be invoked. I'm going to take a minute and show you a little bit about this geometry with some images. I don't have an image of the geometry altogether, but I have some parts. So the first part is a trapezoid, and there's different kinds of trapezoids, and you can see here we're going to be using 3 of them. They won't be set like this, but they sort of look a little bit like gold bars. That's how I think of them. They're sort of like long 4-sided structures, and then they're going to be shaped together like this. And this image shows you just a 2-dimensional kind of depiction, but of these 3 bars, these 3 trapezoids coming together almost to form like a pinwheel, or it looks like a Y here. And this little circle is your body and energy field. The little cursor that has an X right now, that would be like the top of your head if we were looking from the top down. This is not a visualization, so you don't need to be able to visualize it. I just find it helpful when I'm invoking things that if your mind has a sense of what it is, you're not trying to figure, and you can just be in the sacred receptivity. And so what we're going to do is drop into meditation space together. And as we come into meditation space, I'll invoke the flames. And while they're working, we will drop in another layer of deepening into the meditation. And so I'm going to invite you, if it's easy for you to do so, to close your eyes, to begin to let awareness drop into the internal space. And as the awareness drops inward, feel yourself gazing down and toward the physical heart. Feeling yourself bring breath and presence to the physical heart. And feel yourself gazing down into the low belly. As you gaze down into the low belly, bring breath and presence there. And feel yourself really landing in the body. Allowing this landing to be an opening, an intentional opening into sacred connection with the earth, feeling her body and your body beginning to harmonize with one another. Receiving the nourishment and the grace, remembering that she too is part of divine creation and she too is imbued with sacred, and you receive the sacredness of earth and the sacredness of body, and they dance together. And you feel yourself oh, letting there be a nice sigh. You feel yourself with intent, connecting more fully with your eternal nature. And that frequency that vibrates so strong in the very central channel of your being that runs from crown to root. And as you drop in there, it's like a portal. You can feel it open, this sacred bubble of light, enormous sacred bubble of light. And you can't help but feel and know that you are held in the divine embrace. And in this place of deep connection and opening, you allow yourself to receive the beneficial frequencies of the flames and geometry we're about to invoke. We call forth the flame of myopic migration, the flame that's burnt orange, bright, bold, goldish yellow, white, gray, blue, green, and brown, to form a three-dimensional trapezoid of light that will go around your entire body and energy field. And initially it extend out in front of you to the front left. And we call forth the flame of immaculate inner guidance and trust, the shimmering metallic golden light, golden yellow light, to form another three-dimensional trapezoid of light around your entire body and energy field, this one extended out to the front right more than the other directions. And we call forth the flame of sacred gamble, the leap of faith flame, black and white and red light, to form the third three-dimensional trapezoid of light that will go around your entire body and energy field and extend initially behind you. As these three trapezoids of light come into form, the light within the structure will begin to spin, and the whole pinwheel will begin to move, with you in the very center anchoring. As these flames move through your body and energy field, you may feel the spinning motion. You may sense things moving. And in that receptivity, you allow your sacred blueprint to be restored and reactivated, illumined with what's available now, given this life that you've walked already. If you feel any slight dizziness or a little quality of motion sickness, it will pass as soon as the body acclimates to the light that's moving. You might feel places where the body will show it has tension, like a pain in the head or the knee or the elbow or like that, and it'll move. It won't stay. If it feels stagnant, just bring your presence and breath there and just allow that part of the body to deeply receive the flames and geometry that are working. Feel yourself coming into trusting the flow of breath. Notice that it's been happening, that it will rise and fall like waves in the ocean. Notice it flows to you. It's simply there, yours to receive. And when it's complete, flows out of you, yours to release. Notice the beat of your heart. Trust is there. Trust the beat of your heart, that it will rhythmically calibrate the very flow of life through your being and even beyond. Trust the original impulse that brought you into this dimension. That impulse and you hold a sacred blueprint that's unfolding in perfection with each breath, with each heartbeat. As you continue to receive and deepen into trust, I'll play our song for this series.
free will, moving hard, free will, fall apart and cry, animal and pleasant, we let down quiet cry. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Oh, ecstasy and praise be, joy feel, all are welcome in this circle. Cast a hold our being here, this is our dance, it's prayer in action. These are the words I need not say. Inner compass, inner map, here to guide me on my way. And I know it's alright. Everything is alright. All of it is alright. Every bit is alright. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Body is my paintbrush in this human land. Give it up, let fly, bringing blessed trance, counting feet and heartbeat, feathery winged hair. Ain't it good to know that it's alright? I can hear them speak the language my love speaks, the rhythm in me calling to our family. We enliven them by dancing. On our prayers they feed. Ah, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Everything is alright. All of it is alright. Every bit is alright. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright?
That was Mom Muse. Good to know. At some point, I'll get the lyrics for us. I just didn't quite have a chance to get that set up, but we'll hear this song through the series, so you'll get to know it. I'm going to take a minute and pause the recording. For those of you watching in the eternal now, you can just take a moment and just jot down what you're noticing, how you're feeling. And those of us here together, we're going to have a little chat. So as we're coming back from this meditation, we can just notice the places in our body where we can find those perhaps subtle, maybe strong places where there's a vibrancy of trust, where there's like a place where we can feel that we are held, where we can have that gnosis, that knowing, even if they're little places, that as the song said, everything is all right. And so this week, as you move through your life, these next couple weeks, actually, it'll be 2 weeks till we see each other in this form. We'll see each other in meditation next week. But these next couple weeks, I want to encourage you, those places that you felt, to come back to that, to sort of map the sensation that's there and where you noticed it. And through breath, come back to it. And certainly you can come back to this full meditation and receive that. Sandy's going to give us our announcements, and then we'll close our circle.
We're so grateful for you having chosen to spend a bit of your precious time of your life to be in sacred presence with us in Soulfield. If you'd like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube video collection, to have Soulfield events to populate to your calendar automatically, or to share Soulfield with like-minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. That's SOULFILD.org. And I'll also put it on the chat so you guys can just click and access it. And we deeply appreciate your donations and fighting. Without your generosity, Soulfield would simply not be possible. So deep bows to all of those of you who continue to make Soulfield a regular part of your spiritual gifting. And we're thrilled to have many of you joining us in the Eternal Now via recording. Please remember to like, comment our videos, and follow us on YouTube. And thank you in advance for helping others find us. And our next live meditation is Wednesday, September 17th at 5:10 p.m. And our next Soulfield experience is on Sunday, September 28th at 11 a.m. Both are Pacific time via Zoom. And for those joining us live, the links are on the thread. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy. So we're coming to that place where we will formally close our circle. But remember, that we are still here together in sacred space, and feel yourself be able to lean into the soul field when life brings you those things that disappoint you, that you don't like, that don't go the way you think they should go. And so we are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Estamos profundamente agradecidos de haber vivenciado esta comunión de nuestros seres sagrados en el cuerpo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación del sacramento de cada uno de nuestros y de nuestras bendiciones de luz del alma. Al culminar esta congregación, cada uno de nosotros, de manera propia, continuaremos conviviendo en el campo del alma y apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, agradecemos el uno al otro y nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que cuando nos amamos a nosotros mismos, amamos y elevamos al próximo, alentando la magia que acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a nuestras comunidades de manera que todos los seres se beneficien.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our candles and officially close our circle. Thank you so much for being with us live and in the eternal now. It really does amplify our paths when we come together like this. We spur each other along and we receive the gifts of our fellow soul fielders. And so it allows us to walk in grace more fully. So thank you for being here.